Hey, I'm Sam Ross, founder and CEO of Claim Climbers. If you're watching this, you or someone you care about has type 2 diabetes, and you're trying to understand how the VA decides whether it's service connected. And if this has felt confusing, frustrating, or even contradictory at times, you are not imagining that. This process is confusing, but the good news is this: it's also structured. And once you understand the structure, everything starts to make more sense. When it comes to diabetes, the VA generally looks at 3 different paths of service connection: direct, presumptive, and secondary. Let's walk through each one. Direct service connection means the condition began during service or was clearly caused by something that happened while you were in, or a pre-existing condition that was aggravated by your service. For diabetes, this is less common, but it can apply in certain situations where medical records show early blood sugar issues, diagnoses, or documented exposures while you were still serving. This path relies heavily on medical records and timelines. Presumptive service connection is the one many veterans have heard about. This applies when the VA has already determined that certain exposures are strongly linked to certain conditions. For diabetes, this often comes up for Vietnam-era veterans and others exposed to specific chemicals. Here's the important part: even when diabetes is presumptive, claims still get denied. Why? Because the VA still needs a current diagnosis, confirmation of qualifying service, and records that clearly line up. Presumptive does not mean automatic. It means the VA accepts the connection once the requirements are clearly shown. The third path is secondary service connection. This is very common for diabetes claims and also one of the most misunderstood. Secondary service connection means that your diabetes developed because of another service-connected condition. That can include things like medication, weight changes caused by mobility issues, hormonal effects, or long-term stress on the body from other conditions. In these cases, the question isn't, did diabetes start in service, or how could service have caused it? The question is, did something that is service-connected contribute to or cause it later? That distinction matters. No matter which path applies, the VA is always looking for the same core piece of evidence: a current diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, the timeline that shows when symptoms or diagnosis began, evidence of an in-service event, exposure, or service-connected condition, and a medical explanation, often called nexus, that connects the dots. This is where many claims fall apart. Not because diabetes isn't real, not because a veteran doesn't qualify, but because the connection was never clearly explained in medical terms to where the VA raters can understand it. That's also why diabetes claims are sometimes denied even when veterans believe they should be straightforward. The VA doesn't deny confusion, they deny unclear connections. Once you understand that, the process becomes less personal and more procedural. Here's the takeaway I want you to remember: you're not crazy for being confused. You're not missing something obvious. And this is not a guessing game. There is a framework. The key is identifying which path applies to you and whether your records actually support it. If you're unsure whether diabetes applies as direct, presumptive, or secondary in your case, that's normal and it's fixable, because once the path is clear, the evidence becomes a lot easier to understand. In the process, it stops feeling so random. If this helped bring structure to something that felt overwhelming, make sure to like and subscribe for more veteran-focused education. I'm Sam Ross with Claim Climbers, and our goal is simple: to help veterans understand what the VA really is looking for and how to build your claims in order for them to make sense. Take care.